Item number 2021-0244, Parish President's remarks and report. Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman Belloc. Start with government buildings. Let's see. Really quickly, the courthouse is open from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. The second floor, minus the council chambers, remains closed to the public as renovations are ongoing. At this time, 98% of the roof has been completed, and we should have that last 2% completed within the next week or so. Right now, they're flashing all of the curbs, and they're finishing up the lower deck from the third floor to the roof. Bids are due this Wednesday for the third floor renovations, which is an HVAC renovation on the sheriff's side of the third floor. I just wanted to alert the council that that was ongoing as well. The sheriff's office employees had been relocated prior to this storm. And then we are working with Murray Architects to complete the second floor renovation plans. As you know, that project was supposed to happen in 3 phases, or kind of 3.5 phases. But we are going to work to bid that all out in 1 phase and get the entire second floor done in one foul swoop. And that'll be the best working condition for both the judges and for the employees who work inside the courthouse, because it'll shorten the duration and should also save the parish money by not having to remobilize and demobilize several times for the different phases. The Kelowna Community Center should be completed by the end of the week. It did sustain damage from Hurricane Ida, but it also had sustained damage prior to Hurricane Ida on July 20th when we had a pipe burst that flooded the entire center. In planning and zoning, they are working on their usual duties, plus they are now working to help make sure that trailers that are delivered to residents' yards are safe. The trailer program is mostly through the state of Louisiana and FEMA, but once that trailer is put into a resident's yard, and the keys are turned over, planning and zoning is just going to come by to make sure that the address is matched, that it's registered with planning and zoning, so we can have an account of it, and to just double check to make sure that the sewer is actually connected to the sewer and not the storm drain, or not going into the ditch, that the electrical is hooked properly, and just a second set of eyes to make sure that the trailer is safe for the residents. I'm also encouraging our residents to get permits. Please apply if you need to redo your roof or you're doing a renovation in your home. Permits are free right now. The fees have been waived. And this helps our residents ensure that the contractor is doing right by them. Onto waterworks. The regular phone lines and internet are working again. We did have some issues after the internet had came back. We lost it a couple of times, but it is back and working, and it has been a steady connection. So if anyone needs to contact the department via phone, they need to call 985-783-5110. Again, that's 985-783-5110. Flat rate bills have been sent to customers, and I know customers have started to receive them. Our call volume has gone up for some residents who may not have known that a flat rate bill was going out. But those have gone out, and we're working as hard as we can with the debris collection to be able to send out a normal bill as soon as possible. Crews are still catching up with service leaks and line breaks caused by Hurricane Ida, and they're working on cleaning that up. There's still some small leaks out there that residents are just now finding. And when we read the meters again, we'll probably find some more leaks, especially with the smart meters that we have can show the continuous usage and detect a leak. Over in wastewater, last meeting there were four lift stations on generator power. Now all lift stations are on Entergy power. There's only one station on bypass pumping. This is the Norco station, and it will remain on bypass pump while all pumps are being rebuilt. So I'm glad, and I know wastewater is glad to be out of the generator business. There's one basin is running at the Deschran plant, and they're working on a temporary repair to get the second basin back online. Really quickly, sales tax figures for both July and August. July sales tax compared to last year's July was 13.46% up, and we collected $3,056,882.38. We were up 4.5% in August from this time last year. To date, the parish sales tax collections over the first 8 months of the year are up 11.69%. I've had conversations with Grant, and Grant's have conversations with our sales tax collector, who do believe that we will see a dip in the month of September, being that pretty much everything was down. But I think they're looking at next year that the sales tax should kind of bump back up as the recovery efforts is ongoing. Debris collection. To date, the parish has picked up, through its contractor, 830,000 cubic yards. That's an kind of a roundabout number. It could be about 835. We'll see what today's numbers come in at. But now that we are kind of really focusing on the C&D debris, we've learned that the C&D debris is a little bit slower of a process collecting that. So that number where we were originally probably at 25,000 cubic yards a day has kind of dropped to about 15,000, 18,000 cubic yards a day as that debris is takes a little longer to pick up each pile. Let's see. We still have about 63 to 65 trucks working, and we asked our residents to continue to separate piles if they're just starting to put out debris, to separate those piles. At this time, I'm just going to go ahead and ask Tom Baker with DRC to come up and expound on anything that I've said.
So what we're seeing now is we're starting to finalize some areas, and really what I'm seeing out there and what I'm hearing from my crews is that we only have a few areas that have really heavy volume left. So we've got trucks working in Destran and New Sarpy. They think they have about 10 days worth of volume there. The Paul Frederick Kindler area, we think we have 3 or 4 days working in there. The area of Smith to Oak in Hanville still has heavy volume in there, so we're focusing on that area as well. Ashton area probably has 3 or 4 days. That's a lot of C&D debris because that's a newer area. And then Norco also has about 5 days. We don't think that, obviously we're here till the end of it, but the heavy volume, we think that will be collected within the next 10 to 12 days. At some point, we're going to need to sit down and talk about do we want to reduce the number of trucks so that they can still be efficient. I'll be in conversations with Public Works and with Matt to determine what the right number is. But we do think that around Halloween we should be able to significantly lower the number, and then we'll be more of a cleanup job and just going after specific piles that are coming out after we go through. So we do expect a lot of C&D volume to continue to come out as people get their checks and start to demo some homes. We're already seeing that in a lot of areas as well. But we were able to open up a C&D DMS site on the East Bank, and that was through a donation by the folks at Shell, and that's greatly helped us on the East Bank with the collection of C&D debris. Right now we're averaging probably 80% of our collected volume on any given day is going to be construction debris. So as Matt mentioned, that does slow us down. We're working on plans for large stump removal. Those have to be handled separately and just require a little bit different equipment. And then we're also starting to focus on white goods. A lot of those seem to disappear from the right away because of scrap collectors going around getting them. But anything that's left, we'll come along and get that. So we realize this is still going to be a long-term process, but I think that we're probably 80% on volume right now, and it's that last 20% that comes out kind of slowly over the next 20 or 30 days. So with that, I'll answer any questions, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Tom, I want to thank you and even from the many residents that have reached out to me within these past 2 weeks on the work that your drivers are doing. So they wanted me to make sure that I pass on to you, just to give you thanks. But One thing what we also want to let the residents know is that if it's a narrow street and if you have cars on the road, the trucks will not pass. So make sure that you let your residents do know that to at least have a clear street during the daytime, because we never know what area that the trucks are going to pick up on. So if they're going in your neighborhood and we may not know, at least the trucks will be able to pass, because many of us work, so we may not be able to reach out to many of the residents, but residents do make sure that your cars are clear from the road.
Yep, in a couple of instances, you've called and we've set up and you've been able to communicate with the residents and say, hey, the trucks are going to be in there, and that seemed to work out well. But we're seeing a lot of contractor vehicles, which is typical. But typically, they're going to move when they see the truck coming. It's coming down the road pretty slowly, and people are working with us to let us pass through and continue our operations.
Ms. Fisher?
Mr. Fisher.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Boy, it's been a rough day. Thank you, Madam Chair. That's okay. Tom, thank you for everything you're doing. I appreciate it. You've taken care of a lot of numerous stuff. You and I have spoke about the problem areas and the spot areas. We just need to concentrate on that. Sure. Just get people cleaned up, get it out their way. Just like we said, we've started again. That Destrehan, New Sarpy area, you and I both looked at some of the pickup maps and that, and you've committed to getting some of that stuff done. Like Ms. Gordon said, some of the Norco area has been the same, so I have been passing that message out, asking people not to park. So, thank you for the deal with Shell. That's awesome. That has definitely sped up a lot of that stuff. But I know you had some issues, and I appreciate you handling them with some of the crews. I think we all heard a couple of the horror stories and stuff, but I appreciate you and Christy taking care of that, and John. Asking you just please concentrate on the spots that you have. Your maps are really spot on.
Yep.
Everything you provide is awesome. So if you got your crews working, I think we can get through this. And I think, like President Jewell said earlier, we'll be all trick-or-treating for Halloween and clean streets. So
that'd be nice.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom, because I know I have those small streets in Bar None that you would have to back your trucks down. And when I called you a couple of times about some streets that had probably been missed, you sent some guys over there. So thank you so much. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, I'll continue. Thank you, Madam Chair. And Tom, thank you. We appreciate it. I know as I ride around the parish, you really do see a difference in the amount of debris that's been picked up. And, we originally estimated 1 million yards, and then when everybody started gutting their homes, we were thinking it's close to 2 million. It looks like it's probably going to be closer to that 1 million yards, thankfully, because that means a lot more people aren't gutting their homes. But as Tom said, a lot of people will wait to start gutting their home when they get their insurance check. So we know that as this insurance process, which our residents have definitely indicated has been slow and tedious, we should probably see some folks starting to gut, continuously gutting homes. And those guys will be here to make sure that gets picked up quickly. Some more good news. Regular trash pickup will resume on Monday, October 25th. Mm-hmm. So twice a week, trash pickup will start again on October 25th. Roddy with Pelican has indicated to me that that's when they believe they will be able to resume. They have been also helping get the black bags off the street. So now that there's a sufficient number of those black bags off the street, they should be able to get back to it. So more good news. FEMA updates, direct housing assistance. I'm going to keep encouraging residents, and I ask our council members if they get any of these questions as well, to encourage residents to apply through both the FEMA and the state for direct sheltering. So to apply for the state sheltering, they need to go to idashelteringla.com. That's idashelteringla.com. If they do not have internet at the moment, they need to call 844-268-0301. Again, 844-268-0301. And we do have this information on the website as well as on Facebook. If they need to apply through FEMA, they need to go through disasterassistance.gov or call 800-621-3362. Again, that number is 800-621-3362, and that website again is disasterassistance.gov. So FEMA is still at the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. That is where their permanent DRC is going to be until they are not needed anymore. So if our residents need to go and modify an application, they need to go to the Edward A. Dufresne Community Center from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Additionally, at the community center is the Southeast Louisiana Legal Services. Southeast Louisiana Legal Services will be in the white tents at the community center next to FEMA, Monday through Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And they can help residents with FEMA disputes, DSNAP denials, contractor fraud, and more. So again, Monday through Wednesday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the same location as the DRC. Over the weekend, the burn ban that was in place since Hurricane Ida was lifted. Per parish ordinance, residents may resume burning of small debris such as branches and sticks, as long as the fuel for their fire is no taller than 5 feet high and 7 feet wide. Additionally, it must be at least 25 foot away from adjacent property lines, and must be attended at all times. It should also be far enough away as to not cause any potential fire to your own structure as well. This was done in an effort to help return us to our normal parish ordinances. And I know our residents will appreciate it now that the colder weather is arriving, and they'll want to light fires in small fire pits and chimneys and such. Additionally, the sheriff has expressed on Facebook that his office will be strictly enforcing the burn ban, and that this is not an opportunity for residents to burn things like construction debris, tires, or anything else that is prohibited by state law. Next, we have a town hall. This town hall was, this event was brought to me by Senator Gary Smith. He said Louisiana Department of Insurance was doing this around the state, and when he offered it to us, I said, absolutely, we'll hop right on it. So the Louisiana Department of Insurance will host 2 town hall meetings. One will be tomorrow, October 19th, and the other one will be Thursday, October 21st. Both are from 3 to 7 p.m. at the LaFawn Performing Arts Center. Residents will receive assistance in navigating claims. The town hall Q&A portion will be from 3 to 4 p.m. And then representatives from the Louisiana Department of Insurance will be on site from 4 to 7 to answer specific claim questions or issues individuals are having with their insurance. So please bring your claim to the event, bring your policy information to the event. If residents have any need to help understand their policy, the Louisiana Department of Insurance will be there for that event. All right, we are hiring. St. Charles Parish has 8 job openings: animal control officer, carpenter, distribution maintenance, equipment operator 1, equipment operator 2, grass cutter 2, and groundskeeper. To apply, visit our website at stcharlesparish.gov/employment or call our personnel office at 985-783-5000. Veterans Luncheon. We will be hosting our Veterans Luncheon this year on Thursday, November 4th. More information will be made available soon as we're looking for a location to hold it. Additionally, I do have representatives from COX Communications here, and I'd like to welcome them up to the microphone to just give a report on the status of internet in the parish.
Good evening, Parish President Jewell, Madam Chairwoman, and members of the Council. My name is Erin Monroe Wesley, and I serve as the Vice President of Government and Public Affairs for COX Communications. I am joined by Kevin Monroe, who is the Vice President of our New Orleans market. Kevin is also a proud resident of St. Charles Parish. I'm also joined by Christina Lagasse, who is our Manager of Government Affairs. What we would like to do today is briefly highlight our storm preparation and response protocols while updating the council on our Ida recovery. COX has a comprehensive business continuity plan with a formal structure in place to prepare and respond to natural and man-made disasters. We have a very experienced disaster team. We've responded to about 17 disasters or disaster threats since 2016 in our Southeast region, which includes the states of Louisiana, Florida, and Georgia. We braced ourselves for an extended recovery in St. Charles Parish due to the significant amount of power restoration work that was needed in the parish, along with repairs to our network. Our partners in power were able to restore their services to customers in the parish roughly 3 weeks after the storm's landfall. After power was restored, our crews were then able to accelerate our restoration process in St. Charles Parish. We sustained major damage to our network in St. Charles. This includes damage to our network fiber rings servicing St. Charles Parish near Destrehan and Luling. These lines were severed and were in close proximity to hundreds of downed power lines. This damage required us to completely rebuild our lines and equipment in these areas. Our crews had to reattach about 12 miles of our fiber strands, coax cable lines, and network equipment back to power poles. This work involved the splicing or repairing of hundreds of lines that are contained within fiber lines. We also had additional fiber damage in Norco and Montz that required extensive repairs. On the West Bank, our crews worked to repair about 7 miles of our coax cable infrastructure that was also damaged due to the storm. As we have navigated through our storm recovery journey, we stayed true to our best practice of maximizing our recovery efforts by completing repairs that resulted in restoring services to large amounts of customers. Our recovery ecosystem affords us the opportunity to impact hundreds of customers at a time by performing repair at the node level. Nodes are the physical devices attached to our network that service hundreds of customer homes and businesses. Now, once our major repair work is complete at that node level, we're then able to turn our attention to individual customer homes or businesses that are still experiencing an outage. We have completed over 10,000 individual line restorations to date in our greater New Orleans service area, obviously including the parish of St. Charles. These are the lines that deliver customer signals from our neighborhood nodes to single homes or businesses. Today, we have restored services to 92% of customers on the East Bank and 93% of customers on the West Bank. We have provided proactive credits to our St. Charles customers, and we've also promoted our storm assistance plan. So if customers need to leave their homes, but they don't need to move their services to another location, the storm assistance plan will allow those customers to temporarily suspend their services. Customers are able to keep their existing COX email and phone number for no charge up to 6 months. We certainly know that our restoration journey is not over. We continue to work as hard as possible to restore those customers who remain offline. Again, we have completed all of our major repairs, so at this stage it's about that individual customer work, working on those lines again to those homes and businesses who are still suffering an outage. I would like to close by thanking our construction field teams for their tireless service, along with the countless number of employees that really work behind the scenes to support our restoration efforts. And so that at a very high level is a snapshot of our recovery in St. Charles Parish. Certainly happy to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Ms. Perrier.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Aaron, Kevin, and Christina for being here tonight. That was great detail on the work that you all have done and the damage that was sustained. Unfortunately, it's 6 weeks after the storm. I know I did finally hear back from you guys maybe 4 weeks in after a couple of email exchanges with Christina. The parish government here is the closest to the people. We are the people. These are our friends and our families. And in a catastrophic event, all we would ask for is communication. Entergy is the shining star example of how to communicate after catastrophe. They were physically in our presence as soon as they could be. They were on the phone with us. We got phone calls to our personal cell phones just so we can let the residents know even if there wasn't an answer, let them know that they know there's damage, they're trying to figure it out, and we'll let you know as soon as we can. Sometimes they just needed that that level of comfort from us regarding their utilities and some, lines of communication as well. I hope that you guys have learned from this. I know we all have learned lots of things through this storm. Hurricane Ida taught us a whole lot of things. I do hope that you guys maybe have learned from some of this as to how you might be able to communicate with the locals. I know, you're not regulated by the Public Service Commission, and we really don't have to communicate. But I would say that a very large percentage of our 22,000 households in St. Charles Parish are COX users and businesses as well. And it was a huge part of the recovery process for us to get back online. And just to not know, when our residents would call and ask questions, for us to not have an answer, even if that answer would have been, we're not sure, but they're checking on it, it would have been better than nothing. So I do hope that that'll change. If we ever have this happen to us again, I pray to God that we never do. But, and I just, again, thank you for coming tonight. We appreciate the info and the detail on what's been done.
I just want to thank you for that feedback as well. We're working right now through our postmortem effort to identify those lessons learned from the storm, and that certainly is a lesson learned in terms of communications with the council. I'll say that Kevin Monroe, who's with me as well, I know he was having a lot of direct contact with the parish president, but that had excused the council members, right? And so we'll learn from that and improve that if we're, hopefully not able to suffer from another storm, but if that does occur, we'll improve upon that.
We're going to go to Mr. Dufresne.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can we go over how you guys are people? I got numerous emails, and I forwarded some to a couple of y'all about people who are very aggravated and frustrated that they were still billed when they had no service for over a month in time. And then you guys said, well, when it gets back up and running, we're going to pay, give you credit for it. A lot of them feel that it's handcuffing them to have to keep your service. So I'm just going to be blunt. If you go ride to the Bayou Gauche area, you'll see a lot of your COX stuff out in people's yards because they are very frustrated. Their service hardly ever worked out there to start off with, and now this made it even worse. But I've gotten a couple emails from people, then they want, can you give us hey, this is the steps of how we're going to give people credit. And they were charged late fees if they didn't pay. That's not good. That's not good at all. So can we have an explanation of that, please?
Yeah, we have found some instances in terms of late fees being charged on bills. We've reversed all of those charges. And so if that has not happened to your constituents, please let us know. I can open up that individual account. In terms of credits, all the credits are being proactively applied to accounts. And so there may be a billing cycle where they've received their bill, but the credit has not been applied. That next cycle, that'll be a catch-up bill, and those credits will be applied to that bill. And so if they're not seeing that information, certainly share that with our team, and we'll be happy to reverse those charges.
Ms. Gordon.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you all once again for coming in to give us the updates. But I've had a couple residents that have stated that they actually have cable, but not internet. So, and I know you said it's at 93%, so how do we handle that? Or because they're stating that in that particular area, that the outage is, that everything has been cleared, but they're still out of one of the two.
So we're sending trucks out to individual homes to address those outages. So it could be that issue. They have one product working, but not another. And so if you'll share, again, that information with us, we'll make sure to address that and look into that individual home or business issue.
Okay.
Mr. Jewell.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I wanted to just thank Kevin Monroe. He has been communicating with me on various issues throughout the parish, and whenever I would give out updates, whether it's through social media or whatnot, Kevin was helping me get those updates out to the public, which I think was helpful. I do agree with some of my council members up here that COX Communications should have been putting out as much of that type of information as they could, because I believe if you tell the residents that you have to rebuild 10 miles of infrastructure, that they're understanding in the end. The same way they were understanding when Entergy said, hey, we have to rebuild all of Highway 90 before we can turn on the power, and that's why your power might not be turned on until kind of towards the end. So I would encourage in the future, but Kevin, if you want to come up real quick and talk, I know we talked about hardening some of y'all's utilities, but I do want to say thank you, because when Miss Shirley Sims was standing up here and she said, I don't know who Matt Jewell talked to about getting our internet turned on, this is the guy I talked to. And I used him very rarely to help us get things like internet back going to our critical infrastructure, like our waterworks and our EOC and obviously our battered women's shelter. So I want to say thank you for that. But if you want to talk real quick, you are a Destrehan resident. And if you want to talk about just some of the things that y'all are looking at in the system to improve upon so that the outage may not be as widespread in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you. Madam Chairwoman, President Jewell, council members, thank you for allowing us to be here in front of you today. I apologize, I'm a bit hoarse today. As President Jewell mentioned, as we rebuild and establish our infrastructure, one of the things that we're looking at doing is doing after-action reviews. So we're looking at trying to understand what failed within our system from a network perspective, and then build back stronger, harden the network. We want to make sure that we're still putting in fiber services. We want to make sure that we're still building underground where reasonable to do so. And these are the types of different things that we are looking at doing that are going to allow us to have better services throughout the community, throughout the St. Charles Parish going forward. Any questions?
Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we all echoed the same thing. Y'all have a major credibility problem with the residents of St. Charles Parish. This is a step to starting, getting it fixed, your hardening of it. But I'm going to tell you, 22,000 people, 22,000 households basically lost faith in COX. I think you have a long, long road ahead of y'all. So I echo what everybody talked about communications. I think you ought to spend efforts and time talking to each one of your St. Charles Parish customers. And I think we need to start seeing a lot more of you guys in St. Charles Parish. Every time I turn the TV or had the TV on, Christine was standing by Cynthia Lee Chang, you in Jefferson Parish, and here we are in the middle of this thing. So y'all have a big credibility problem with the residents of St. Charles Parish, and I just hope that you can fix it.
Thank you for that feedback.
Right.
We will make every effort to do so.
All right, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes my report.